What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please, to like and share the video. You can support the channel as well. Now I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. Thank you to everyone so far that has become a patron. Honestly, much appreciated. All right, let's talk Callum Smith versus John Ryder. Again, I did make a video in the immediate aftermath of the fight. I was livid. I still am, to be honest. I've not calmed down at all. I do think it's a shame when something like that happens. I do think people need to be held accountable, right, for something like that. And this isn't, by the way, anything anti-Callum Smith. It's not the fighter's fault. I don't think, and we're going to talk about Canelo and other fighters. It's nothing to do with them. I think it's people behind the scenes, really. I think it has everything to do with them, if I'm honest with you. We, as fight fans, have almost just started to accept certain terminology in boxing. Like, we've almost just started to accept things like a home decision. Like, we've just accepted that as the norm. Or he has to get a knockout to win. He's never going to win if it goes to points. We've just accepted these things as part of boxing, and they really shouldn't be. They should be once in a blue moon, but they seem to be happening in boxing very frequently. I mean, we always talk about Canelo, but there's got examples of shit happening over here. Yesterday proved it. But we always talk about Canelo as a good example of someone that, if it goes to points, he will not lose, right? I mean, apart from Mayweather, and even that, bloody hell, one referee gave that a draw. But, one judge gave it a draw. But Canelo is a good example of someone we've just accepted that if it goes to points and you're fighting Canelo, you will not win. How is that acceptable? Yesterday, though, I think even a bit more embarrassing. Not just because I thought John Ryder won, which is whatever. Some people think, some people don't. It's just the fact that one judge gave it, 117, 111. That judge should be held accountable, right? If boxing is really serious about stamping out BS in boxing, that judge should be held accountable by the British Boxing Board of Control. They should say, you know what? We have a couple of independent people here. We have you here. We're going to put the fight on again. And we want you to score that fight 117, 111 or 117, 110 and tell us how the fuck you got to that score. Because that score line is almost impossible. And that judge needs to be held accountable. And if that judge is found not to be able to score that fight again, like the way he did, then he needs to be suspended. And then we'll start to see less of these kind of dubious decisions. Because this can't be the norm. And we as fight fans can't accept this as the norm. I can't tell you how many people I was following on Twitter yesterday that as soon as it went to the scorecards, everyone said, Ryder's never going to get the decision. How is this just acceptable? This is a world title fight that Ryder has worked unbelievably hard to get to. And it's just accepted that if it goes to points, he isn't going to win. And we as fans have accepted that now as the norm in boxing. Any other sport I really wouldn't care about. I care about it in this sport so much because, I mean, we've seen the dangers in this sport. They've been highlighted just this year. I think there's had, 6 or 7 deaths in the ring this year. It's no exaggeration, no hyperbole to say fighters risk their lives when they get in the squared circle. Risk their lives. And all they ask for is a fair fucking shake, and they don't get it. You know, Ortiz Wilder, obviously Wilder ended it in the 7th round, so I guess it doesn't necessarily matter, but it still does to me. The official scorecards, I believe, going into that 7th round were something like Ortiz up by a round or 2 rounds. I think it was a round. Ortiz won every single round. But the official scorecards were Ortiz was only up by 1. I mean, this can't be acceptable. It really can't be acceptable. I mean, it's got to a situation now where I believe if any judge scores a fight and it's a bit dubious, he needs to be held accountable. Just held accountable, right? I mean, what's going to happen with this Ryder one? It's just going to be swept under the carpet and no one's going to say anything in a couple of weeks' time. But every judge needs to be held accountable. I don't know what you have. You have like an independent body or something where you have that judge, maybe a former judge, maybe a former fighter, and they all watch the fight, and he explains how the fuck he got to that scorecard. And if he can't explain it, it's simple. 6 months to a year suspension. These judges cannot be ruining fighters' lives. They can't. And this is no exaggeration. You can't be ruining fighters' lives. I mean, and I say ruining because look, John Ryder, he wins. Not only does he achieve his childhood dream of becoming world champion, his next fight is massive for him in terms of a payday. That judge or those judges have just ruined that. They've just ruined that. So they need to be held accountable. It can't just be a case of Ryder goes home battered and bruised and everyone pats him on the back saying, oh, don't worry, well done. You done well and it was your best fight ever. It needs to be more than that. It needs to be more than that. But it's obviously not going to be. Again, and the reason it's not going to be is because we as fans have almost accepted it as well. We've almost accepted this bollocks in boxing. And we've just become numb to it. Like, oh yeah, home decision, that was always going to be. Oh, he needs a knockout to win, it was always going to be. Oh, the fight was close, but it's going to go to the favor. These terms have just become norm. And I'm tired of it, if I'm honest with you. I'm very much tired of it. And hence why I made that video yesterday, because there's only one word to describe those kind of dubious scorecards, and that's corruption. I'm not having that these judges are seeing something different, or that these judges are just incompetent. I'm not having that. There is some form of corruption. And I'm not talking necessarily Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. I'm not even going that far. I'm even talking about betting. They need to look at everything. Like, they need to look at everything. Because these scorecards now are becoming stupid. They're becoming a bit stupid. I mean, 117, 111, I think it was, for a fight that someone thought you lost. Everyone thought you lost. Nah, peace.